In the year 2025, a team of divers descends into the shadowy abyss of the Black Sea, their lights piercing ancient quarries carved with impossible precision, chambers lined with crystals that suddenly ignite in a spectral glow during a solar flare, revealing hidden portals that warp the water and whisper of timelines twisted beyond recognition. What hazards lurk in these submerged depths? Treasures of a compressed history guarded by forces that could unravel the very fabric of our past, leaving us to question if everything we know about civilization is a deliberate fabrication with no clear origin or end. This heart-racing discovery thrusts us into the enigma of Anatoly Fomenko's new chronology, a provocative framework that squeezes the sprawling saga of human history into a mere 1200 years, beginning around the year 800 after Christ, and casts Tartaria not as a forgotten footnote, but as the epicenter of a grand Russian psychological operation designed to reclaim a suppressed legacy. Fomenko, a brilliant yet controversial Russian mathematician whose theories took root in the 1970s, posits that the vast epochs we cherish, the majestic pyramids of ancient Egypt, the philosophical heights of Greece, the imperial sprawl of Rome are illusions, duplicated events inflated by Western chroniclers to obscure the true dominance of a Slavic superpower. In this view, history is not a linear river flowing through millennia, but a cleverly folded map, where biblical plagues echo medieval pandemics, pharaohs mirror Byzantine rulers, and the Trojan War replays as a crusader skirmish, all engineered to diminish Russia's ancestral claim as the cradle of advanced civilization. But what drives this compression? At its core lies a psychological operation steeped in Russian nationalism, where Tartaria emerges as the ancient heart of a proto-Russian empire, its erasure a calculated strike by envious powers to fragment and subordinate a nation destined for greatness. Fomenko's work, amplified by figures like Nikolai Levashov who blended it with mystical elements, suggests that Western academia, perhaps influenced by the Vatican or colonial empires, fabricated centuries to justify dominance over the East, turning Tartaria's innovative realm into a vague label for nomadic steppes. This narrative resonates deeply in post-Soviet Russia, fueling a sense of victimhood and resurgence, especially amid conflicts like the one in Ukraine, where ancient sites are excavated under the shadow of war, hinting at buried keys to this compressed timeline. The Black Sea Quarry, unearthed in 2025, serves as a tantalizing piece of this puzzle. Explorers described vast excavated halls, walls inscribed with geometric symbols reminiscent of Siberian petroglyphs, potentially sites where Tartarians extracted crystals for devices that manipulated quantum compression technologies capable of folding matter, energy, or even historical events into denser forms. During solar flares that year, the site reportedly exhibited hazards, glowing portals that distorted electronic signals and induced disorientation in divers, as if activating ancient safeguards. Artificial intelligence analyses of texts recovered from similar mudflood vaults have begun decoding inscriptions that speak of temporal layering, where events are superimposed to accelerate progress or conceal defeats, aligning eerily with Fomenko's mathematical models that detect statistical duplicates in chronicles. These findings raise profound questions without easy answers. If history compresses to the 8th century, who orchestrated the illusion of antiquity, and what role did invading hordes play in this psychological operation? Fomenko argues that the inflated timeline served to elevate Western narratives, portraying Russia as a latecomer rather than the originator of grand achievements. The quarry's crystals, pulsing during flares, suggest a quantum angle. Perhaps Tartarians harnessed such energies to compress distances for travel or resources for construction, technologies stolen and suppressed. In Turkey's Karadeniz region, linked to the Black Sea, local legends of mudfloods describe Ottoman cover-ups, where sultans buried similar sites to claim their own imperial glory, adding layers to the conspiracy of erasure. This Russian-centric psychological operation extends to modern debates, where Fomenko's ideas are wielded to challenge global histories amid rising tensions. For instance, the ongoing excavations in Ukraine uncover mounds that some claim hold Tartarian artifacts, potentially proving the compressed chronology, yet dismissed as propaganda. The artificial intelligence revelations from vault texts in 2025 describe event folding, a process where wars and wonders overlap, implying that Egypt's pyramids might be Tartarian prototypes, their quantum properties hidden to maintain the facade of separation. As solar flares intensify in 2025, reports of vitrified forts glowing across Europe and Asia structures with glass-like walls from extreme heat further fuel the intrigue, as if reactivating under cosmic cues. These anomalies tie back to Fomenko's theory, suggesting that Tartaria's defenses were compressed in design, capable of withstanding invasions that reshaped timelines. The psychological operation, then, becomes a tool not just for nationalism, but for questioning reality. What if our education systems perpetuate this compression, teaching elongated histories to dilute the power of a unified Slavic past? The unanswered riddles multiply. If the Black Sea quarries' portals whisper of folded realities, who controls the unfolding now, and what hazards await those who seek to expand the timeline once more? Fomenko's chronology, while labeled pseudo-history by critics, persists because it echoes a deeper unrest. The suspicion that our past has been manipulated like a psychological warfare map, with Tartaria as the redacted core. In the serenity of evening, let these compressed mysteries soothe your thoughts. Timelines folded, quarries glowing, portals beckoning with questions that defy resolution. What forgotten epoch might unfold if we dare to stretch the fabric? Welcome to Mystery History for Sleep. I am Mr. H. If these temporal enigmas have drawn you in, consider subscribing and turning on notifications to join us for more unravelings. Your curiosity could be the key to expanding the story. Have you ever wandered the windswept steppes of Central Asia, where the horizon stretches endlessly, and felt the ground tremble with the echoes of nomadic hordes, whose true legacy might conceal giants among their ranks, their colossal forms woven into myths that blur the line between fierce warriors and otherworldly beings? The Tatar people, often reduced to footnotes in history as Mongol and Turkic nomads roaming the vast expanses from the Caspian Sea to the Pacific, emerge in conspiracy whispers as the erased guardians of an advanced heritage. Their nomadic lifestyle, a veil for secrets that could upend our understanding of human stature and power. These horsemen, known for their unyielding conquests under the Golden Horde, are reimagined not as mere raiders, but as descendants of a race that towered over the plains, their erased legacy hinting at a world where giants roamed freely, shaping empires with strength that defied the ordinary. The intrigue deepens when we consider the Tatars' historical footprint, a people whose name evokes both fear and fascination in medieval chronicles. Emerging from the 13th century Mongol invasions, the Tatars formed successor states like the Crimean Khanate and the Volga Bulgars. Their societies a blend of nomadic mobility and settled sophistication, with languages and customs that bridged Turkish and Mongolian roots. Yet, in the shadows of official narratives, theorists posit that these nomads were more than conquerors. They were the remnants of giants, their physical prowess exaggerated in legends to mask a genetic anomaly or perhaps an extraterrestrial infusion. Historical accounts from travelers like Marco Polo describe Tatar warriors as formidable, but whispers in pseudo-historical texts suggest heights reaching 8 or 9 feet. Their hordes, not just armies, but migrations of colossal beings fleeing cataclysms that compressed their timeline into obscurity. This notion gains eerie traction with discoveries in 2025, where new photographs from Buffalo, New York surfaced online, capturing buried anomalies beneath the city's streets, resonance chambers that hum faintly during geomagnetic disturbances, as if Tatar nomadic tech had been interred to hide its vibrational secrets. These images, shared in underground forums, show ornate basements with walls etched in patterns resembling Siberian petroglyphs, potentially defenses or energy conduits used by Tatar giants to amplify their nomadic endurance across vast distances. Why would such structures lie hidden in an American city, far from the steppes? Perhaps the Tatar legacy extended globally, their erased history, a deliberate act to sever ties to a past where nomads wielded free energy derived from the Earth's own pulses, suppressed by governments fearing its liberating potential. Psychic experiments at the Bosnian pyramids in 2025 add a layer of profound mystery, where participants in controlled sessions reported visions of nomadic giant rituals, Towering figures gathered around bonfires under starlit skies, chanting frequencies that lifted massive stones for temporary fortresses, their hordes moving like shadows across continents. These visions, documented in fringe parapsychology reports, describe Tartars not as barbaric invaders, but as stewards of quantum knowledge, using sound waves to encode history in the landscape itself. The pyramids, with their underground tunnels echoing Tatar migratory paths, suggest a connection. Perhaps these sites were waypoints for giants fleeing compressions of time, their rituals leaving imprints that psychics now access, raising questions about whether our DNA carries latent memories of such stature and wisdom. The vitrified forts scattered across Scotland and India, glowing faintly during solar flares in 2025, further tantalize with their connection to Tatar defenses. These structures, with walls fused into glass by intense heat, are theorized as barriers erected against nomadic incursions, but in the conspiracy lens, they were Tatar creations forts that harnessed plasma energies to protect their hordes from cosmic or earthly threats. Reports from that year describe eerie luminescence during flares, as if the glass-like surfaces reactivate, emitting low-frequency hums that disrupt nearby electronics. Could this be residual Tatar technology, designed by giants to shield their mobile societies, now suppressed by secret cabals like the Illuminati, who view such free energy as a threat to controlled narratives? This suppression ties into a broader ummu, where governments hide Tatar free energy, burying it under layers of historical revisionism to prevent the resurgence of nomadic independence. The Illuminati, often invoked in these theories, are said to have infiltrated Tatar societies during their decline, co-opting their quantum secrets for elite use, while erasing the giant's role through fabricated chronologies. Modern debates rage. Is Tartaria a psychological operation to promote Russian nationalism, portraying Tatars as heroic victims of Western erasure, or a genuine alternative history suppressed to maintain global hierarchies? The Turkish links to the Karadeniz mudflood amplify this, with Ottoman records allegedly covering up Tatar incursions that brought advanced tech to the region, floods engineered to drown evidence of their nomadic dominance. Exploring myths as encoded Tatar history unveils even more layers of curiosity. Legends from the steppes speak of red-haired giants leading hordes, their strength forging alliances that spanned Asia, much like the Golden Horde's vast reach. These tales, preserved in oral traditions, might encode real events. Nomadic giants using vitrified forts as mobile bases, their erased legacy, a testament to a world where height symbolized not just physical power, but spiritual attunement to the Earth's energies. The 2025 Buffalo anomalies, with their buried resonance devices, suggest these myths hold kernels of truth. Perhaps Tatar shamans harnessed such tech for healing or warfare, secrets guarded by societies that view them as too disruptive for public knowledge. Mainstream historians dismiss Tatar giants as exaggerations of warrior prowess, vitrified forts as natural lightning strikes, and psychic visions as hallucinations. Yet, the persistence of anomalies like forts glowing during flares challenges this, hinting at a nationalism-fueled psychological operation where Russia reclaims Tatar heritage to counter Western dominance. Governments hiding these truths might fear the implications. If Tatar nomads were giants wielding free energy, what does that say about our own diminished stature in a world of controlled resources? As we trace these veiled histories, the questions persist without resolution. Were the Tatar hordes led by giants whose legacy was compressed into obscurity, their nomadic paths etched with secrets that 2025 discoveries are only beginning to illuminate? The Bosnian visions, buffalo photos, and glowing forts beckon us to wonder if reclaiming this erased heritage could unlock powers long suppressed, or if it's all a masterful psychological operation designed to stir unrest in uncertain times. What forgotten strength might awaken if we trace their erased trails? I'm curious, where are you tuning in from tonight? And what's the hour where you are? Drop it in the comments to share your corner of this mysterious world. Deep within the sealed vaults unearthed from mud-flooded layers beneath Siberian permafrost, artificial intelligence algorithms in 2025 begin unraveling ancient scripts etched on metallic tablets, revealing blueprints for quantum levitation devices that could defy gravity itself, allowing objects to float effortlessly, as if the laws of physics bent to an unseen will. What forgotten mechanisms lie encoded in these texts? And why do they pulse with descriptions of energies harnessed from the ether? Technologies that might explain how nomadic Tatar hordes traversed vast distances without leaving traces, their secrets suppressed for centuries under layers of deliberate oblivion. This captivating revelation thrusts us into the lost technologies buried in mudflood vaults, where the Tatar legacy emerges not as mere nomadic conquests, but as custodians of advanced systems that manipulated reality at a quantum level. The vaults, discovered during exploratory digs in regions once labelled as Great Tartary on medieval maps, contain artifacts that artificial intelligence has only recently begun to decode scripts, blending Slavic runes with Turkic symbols, describing resonance fields capable of compressing matter or amplifying human capabilities. In 2025, these decodings have sparked global whispers. Programs analyzing the texts uncover methods for quantum levitation, where vibrational frequencies align particles to suspend weight, potentially the key to how Tatar warriors erected temporary fortifications overnight, their structures vanishing as mysteriously as they appeared. The phenomenon gains eerie depth with reports of unidentified flying objects surges over Siberian sites in 2025, where orbs of light dance above ancient grids, activating buried networks that emit low-frequency hums detectable by satellite. These surges, documented in amateur videos and analyzed by independent researchers, coincide with solar flares, suggesting that Tatar technologies were attuned to cosmic rhythms, their grids designed to harness stellar energies for propulsion or protection. Could these activations be accidental echoes, or deliberate signals from hidden descendants, reactivating systems long dormant under the mud's embrace? The vault's texts hint at such grids, describing how nomadic hordes used them to create invisible barriers, shielding their migrations from invaders while compressing travel times across the steppes. Turkish connections to the Karadeniz mud flood add a veil of profound mystery, where Ottoman chronicles, long dismissed as folklore, speak of deluges that swallowed coastal settlements, linking to submerged portals that distorted ships' compasses and induced visions among sailors. In 2025, sonar mappings of the Black Sea floor have revealed anomalies resembling these portals, circular depressions etched with patterns matching Tatar artifacts, potentially gateways used for instantaneous transport, now malfunctioning and causing hazardous electromagnetic storms. Theorists speculate that the Ottomans, in their expansion, encountered Tatar remnants and orchestrated localized mudfloods to bury these portals, fearing their power could unravel imperial control. The artificial intelligence decodings support this, with passages detailing fold points where space compresses, allowing hordes to appear and vanish, a technology that might explain the Tatars' legendary mobility without vast supply lines. The Illuminati's shadow looms over this suppression, a clandestine network purportedly infiltrating Tatar societies during their decline under the Golden Horde, co-opting quantum secrets for elite agendas, while erasing evidence through fabricated histories. Whispers in online forums suggest that these vaults hold texts warning of such infiltration, where shadowy figures manipulated resonance devices to induce cataclysms, compressing Tatar dominance into fragmented khanates. In 2025, artificial intelligence breakthroughs have exposed patents mirroring these descriptions. Quantum levitation tech filed under classified programs, raising questions about whether modern black projects draw from stolen Tatar innovations, hidden to maintain global scarcity and control. Exploring these lost technologies unveils layers of curiosity about Tatar resonance experiments replicated in secret labs today. Scientists, inspired by vault decodings, have conducted trials where sound frequencies align with quantum fields, levitating small objects and generating microenergy bursts, echoing how Tatar nomads might have used portable devices to erect barriers or heal wounds on the move. These experiments, detailed in leaked reports from 2025, show promise for clean energy but also hazards. Uncontrolled resonances causing localized tremors, reminiscent of the mud floods that buried their origins. What if these replications awaken dormant grids, explaining the Siberian unidentified flying object surges as activations of ancient Tatar networks, pulsing in response to human probing. The Turkish Karadeniz links deepen the enigma, with historical accounts of mud floods in the region describing waters that boiled with light, potentially plasma discharges from malfunctioning portals used by Tatar explorers crossing into Ottoman lands. In 2025, divers exploring these sites have reported visions, fleeting images of nomadic figures, manipulating glowing orbs, suggesting psychic residues embedded in the anomalies. Could these be intentional safeguards, designed to deter intruders while preserving knowledge for worthy heirs? The artificial intelligence analyses of vault texts describe similar vision fields, where quantum compressions store memories, accessible only under specific frequencies, hinting that Tatar hordes encoded their history in the landscape itself, a technology suppressed by empires fearing its liberating potential. This suppression narrative ties into broader conspiracies, where the Illuminati, drawing from infiltrated Tatar knowledge, wield quantum tools to manipulate modern events, compressing information flows through media, or inducing societal resets via engineered crises. The 2025 unidentified flying object surges over Siberia, coinciding with global flare activity, fuel speculation that these are not extraterrestrial but reactivated Tatar crafts, their quantum drives humming to life as a warning or invitation. Researchers replicating Tatar resonance in labs report similar surges, devices that bend light and sound, creating illusions of movement, perhaps the origin of nomadic ghost hordes in legends. As we sift through these veiled innovations, the questions cascade without resolution. If Tatar nomads harnessed quantum levitation to traverse and transform, who erased their technological footprints? And what revelations await in the vaults as artificial intelligence peels back more layers? The Karadeniz portals, Siberian surges, and glowing forts beckon us to wonder if reclaiming this lost tech could elevate humanity or unleash hazards long contained under the mud's silent guard. Venturing further into the Tatars' quantum realm unveils even more profound curiosities about their nomadic endurance, where resonance fields might have compressed sustenance, allowing hordes to survive vast journeys with minimal resources. In 2025, artificial intelligence simulations based on vault texts have modeled these fields, generating virtual environments where particles align to create self-sustaining bubbles, echoing how Tatar giants could have formed protective enclaves amid hostile terrains. These simulations, shared in underground networks, show promise for disaster relief but also risks, overcompression leading to instability, mirroring the mud floods that theorists claim were weaponized against them. The Turkish Ottoman cover-ups add chilling depth, with declassified documents hinting at sultans sealing Karadeniz sites after encountering Tatar artifacts that induced mass visions, perhaps psychic broadcasts embedded in the quantum tech. Divers in 2025 have echoed these experiences, reporting disorientation and glimpses of colossal figures on horseback, as if the portals replay historical loops. This suggests Tatar hordes use such devices for psychological warfare, compressing fear into waves that scattered enemies, a technology the Illuminati might have adapted for modern mind control. Curiosity is heightened by reports of vitrified fortresses in India and Scotland glowing in 2025 bursts, their glass-like walls melted by extreme heat, emitting frequencies that match the descriptions of the Tatar barricades in the vaults. Could this be a global expansion of their nomadic network, now activated in response to human encroachment? Resonance re-engineering labs report breakthroughs, heavier lifting devices, hinting at applications for space travel or earthquake mitigation, but with warnings of uncontrolled plasma discharges. As these discoveries unfold, the questions persist. If Tatar, quantum tech compressed realities for their hordes, what suppressed forces seek to keep it buried, and what visions might emerge if we dare to resonate with their erased frequencies? The Siberian surges, Karadeniz hazards, and artificial intelligence decodings invite us to ponder if this lost legacy holds the key to humanity's next leap, or a Pandora's box of nomadic power long sealed away. What if the glittering spectacles of the world's fairs, those extravagant showcases of innovation and progress in the late 19th century, were nothing more than elaborate psychological operations designed to parade the remnants of Tatar ingenuity before the masses, only to dismantle them under the guise of temporality, ensuring that the nomadic hordes' advanced technologies remained forever obscured? Envision the 1893 Chicago World's Columbian Exposition, a sprawling white city of neoclassical marvels rising from the swamps, where millions marveled at structures that echoed the resonance chambers of ancient Tatar grids, their true origins veiled in a narrative of fleeting achievement, debated in 2025 as a masterful PsyOp to discredit alternative histories like Fomenko's compressed chronology. The curiosity builds as we peel back the layers of these fairs. Events that theorists now argue served as cover-ups for Tatar legacies, staging the display and destruction of technologies inherited from nomadic giants whose hordes once commanded quantum secrets across the steppes. The Chicago Fair, with its over 600 acres of elaborate buildings constructed in a mere 2 years, featured domes and columns that hummed with subtle vibrations during electrical demonstrations, as if Tatar resonance tech lingered in the architecture. Official histories claim these were temporary edifices of plaster and staff, yet artificial intelligence analyses in 2025 of archival photos reveal anomalies, faint glows around foundations during thunderstorms, suggesting buried energy conduits used by Tatar nomads to power mobile settlements, hidden to prevent recognition of their true builders. These revelations spark endless debates. Is Tartaria a genuine alternative history suppressed by Western powers, or a modern PsyOp engineered to fuel Russian nationalism, discrediting Fomenko's ideas by associating them with outlandish claims? In online forums buzzing in 2025, accusations fly that the fairs were orchestrated by Freemasons, whose symbols, squares, and compasses appear etched in fair layouts, staging events to mock Tatar quantum tech while hiding its alien origins. The incubator babies at the St. Louis Fair of 1904, displayed as medical miracles, now whisper of cloned repopulation efforts, where Tatar genetic material unearthed from mudflood vaults was used to breed compliant populations, their nomadic resilience diluted to serve new empires. The interrogation of missing construction documents adds to the intrigue, with 2,025 leaks from declassified archives, suggesting that key blueprints vanished not by accident but by design, perhaps burned in orchestrated fires that consumed fair remnants. Freemasons, intertwined with Illuminati networks, are accused of curating these spectacles to hide Tatar alien tech. Tablets from vaults describing alliances with extraterrestrial entities that gifted quantum levitation to the hordes, allowing them to erect structures swiftly across vast terrains. The fairs, in this view, became PsyOps to condition the public, presenting Tatar innovations as modern inventions while ensuring their true nomadic source remained erased, debated as disinformation to undermine Fomenko's chronology that places Tatar as the origin of all great works. The Turkish links to the Karadeniz mudflood weave in another strand of mystery, where Ottoman sultans, encountering Tatar artifacts washed ashore during deluges, allegedly incorporated them into their own displays, much like the world's fairs borrowed from hidden vaults. In 2025, sonar scans of the Black Sea reveal submerged fair-like structures, their layouts mirroring Chicago's Court of Honor, potentially Tatar prototypes flooded to conceal hazards like unstable quantum fields that induce visions or distortions. These anomalies fuel debates. If the fairs were PsyOps, were they meant to discredit real alternative histories, or to embed Tatar tech in public subconscious, hidden by Freemasonic rituals performed during opening ceremonies? As we sift through these staged spectacles, the questions cascade without closure. If the world's fairs paraded Tatar cover-ups, what quantum secrets did the incubator clones carry, and why do 2025 artificial intelligence photo analyses glow with hints of alien involvement? The PsyOp debates rage Fomenko's compressed history as a tool to elevate Russia, or a counter-narrative suppressed by Illuminati gatekeepers who used fairs to mock nomadic wisdom. The missing documents, with their leaked fragments describing Tatar resonance that could levitate entire pavilions, suggest a deliberate erasure, where Freemasons staged demolitions to bury evidence. Their symbols are code for those in the know. Venturing into the St. Louis Fair of 1904 unveils more layers, where cascading lagoons and morphing exhibits echoed Tatar nomadic adaptability, their tech perhaps used to create illusions of progress, while hiding the Hordes' true quantum mastery. 2025 debates accuse these events of being psychological operations to discredit emerging alternative histories, associating them with extremist pseudoscience to marginalize thinkers like Fomenko. The incubator babies, now linked in conspiracy circles to clone Tatar repopulation, raise haunting possibilities. Were these displays tests of genetic material salvaged from mudflood vaults, engineered to dilute the nomadic giants' bloodlines and ensure compliance in a post-reset world? The Ottoman-Turkish connections deepen the enigma, with chronicles describing mudfloods in the Karadenis that swallowed Tatar outposts, their tech seized and repurposed in imperial spectacles akin to the fairs. In 2025, divers report hazards in these sites, glowing residues that disrupt equipment, perhaps remnants of Tatar alien alliances, where extraterrestrials provided quantum tools for horde mobility. Freemasons, accused of infiltrating these cover-ups, allegedly used fair ceremonies to encode warnings. Their rituals avail for hiding the nomadic legacy that could upend modern power structures. These PsyOp debates extend to the Paris Exposition of 1900, where Tatar-inspired towers hummed with electricity, debated as staged to mock Fomenko's chronology, by presenting compressed innovations as French achievements. The missing construction logs, leaked in 2025 fragments, describe anomalies like self-assembling pavilions, hinting at Tatar quantum compression used to erect and dismantle swiftly, a technology the Illuminati suppressed to maintain scarcity. If they were Tatar cover-ups, what alien secrets did the Freemasons encode in their symbols? And why do 2025 analyses reveal glowing anomalies in old photos? The incubator clones, perhaps carrying Tatar nomadic genes, question our own origins, while Ottoman mudflood links suggest a global pattern of erasure. The debates persist. PsyOp to discredit alternative histories, or portals to a suppressed truth where Tatar hordes wielded powers we can only dream of reclaiming. The world's fairs, in their fleeting glory, leave us pondering if they were celebrations or funerals for a nomadic legacy deliberately compressed into oblivion. If these hidden spectacles spark your curiosity, share your thoughts in the comments. What mysteries do you see in the fair's faded grandeur? And consider subscribing to Mystery History for Sleep with the bell on to catch more unravelings of the past. Delve into the fractured chronicles of Tatar calamities, where wars and natural upheavals intertwine like serpents in a forgotten myth. Each disaster, not a random stroke of fate, but a calculated reset that compressed the nomadic horde's expansive legacy into isolated fragments, leaving behind vitrified scars on the earth that now, in 2025, flicker to life during solar flares as if awakening long-dormant warnings. Could these resets have been engineered to erase the Tatars' quantum mastery over the steppes, their disasters echoing through time in patterns that defy coincidence, urging us to question if modern echoes like the World Economic Forum's agendas are merely continuations of an ancient cycle designed to keep nomadic wisdom buried forever? The Tatar people's saga, woven from the threads of Mongol conquests and Turkic migrations, unfolds as a series of orchestrated upheavals that theorists argue were deliberate resets, compressing their historical dominance under layers of conflict and cataclysm. Beginning with the fall of the Golden Horde in the 15th century, these nomads scattered into khanates like the Crimean and Kazan faced invasions that weren't mere territorial grabs but systematic erasures, their advanced knowledge of resonance and energy grids fragmented as empires like Russia expanded eastward. In 2025, solar flares have illuminated this narrative in startling ways, causing vitrified forts across Scotland and India structures, with walls fused into glass by extreme heat to emit ethereal glows during peak activity, mimicking the plasma discharges that may have weaponized Tatar disasters centuries ago. These glows, captured in viral footage from remote observers, pulse with low-energy emissions that disrupt nearby electronics, hinting at residual Tatar defenses reactivating under cosmic influence, a phenomenon that raises endless speculation about whether these forts were Tatar outposts, their vitrification a result of self-inflicted resets to protect secrets from encroaching foes. Tunguska's enigma, in 1908, stands as a pivotal chapter in this tale of resets, a massive explosion over Siberian forests, once Tatar heartlands, that flattened trees across 800 square miles without leaving a crater, now theorized not as a meteor but as a Tatar portal detonation, where compressed quantum energies misfired during an attempted activation. In 2025, similar surges have been reported over the site during solar flares, with unmanned drones capturing orbs of light that weave through the canopy, emitting frequencies matching those decoded from mudflood vaults. Could this be the echo of a Tatar reset? A self-imposed cataclysm to seal portals from invaders, their nomadic hordes sacrificing vast territories to preserve core knowledge? The World Economic Forum's modern reset rhetoric amplifies the parallel, with global leaders discussing economic overhauls that mirror the compressive forces that scattered Tatar societies, prompting debates on whether today's agendas are unwitting continuations of ancient PsyOps aimed at diluting nomadic independence. Fomenko's compressed cycles provide a philosophical lens for these disasters, arguing that Tatar resets weren't isolated but part of a broader historical folding, where wars like the Mongol invasions were duplicated in chronicles to inflate timelines, hiding the nomads' true role as innovators. In 2025, artificial intelligence scans of Ottoman archives linked to the Karadeniz mudflood reveal texts, describing Tatar plasma weapons devices that harnessed solar-like energies to induce localized deluges, compressing landscapes into uninhabitable wastelands. These floods, sweeping through Turkish coasts, may have been Tatar countermeasures against Ottoman expansion, their aftermath leaving vitrified residues that glow anew during flares, as if the earth remembers and reacts. The curiosity mounts. If Tatar disasters were self-engineered resets to evade erasure, why do 2025 flares trigger such vivid reactivations? And what messages do these glows encode for those attuned to listen? The Turkish Karadeniz connections weave a web of historical intrigue, where mudfloods in the region are now viewed through Fomenko's lens as compressive events that folded Tatar strongholds into oblivion, their nomadic artifacts seized by sultans who repurposed the tech for imperial might. In 2025, psychic sessions at nearby sites have yielded visions of Tatar shamans invoking plasma storms to reset encroaching armies, their rituals compressing time to accelerate escapes across the steppes. These visions, shared in online communities, describe hazards like lingering energy fields that induce disorientation, mirroring reports from solar flare observers at vitrified forts. Could the World Economic Forum's calls for resets be subliminal echoes of these ancient tactics, a psychological operation perpetuated by elites who inherited Tatar secrets through infiltrated lineages? As we trace these Tatar disasters, the patterns emerge without resolution. Wars that compressed hordes into khanates, plasma events vitrifying defenses, mud floods swallowing evidence, all potentially self-inflicted to safeguard quantum legacies from total erasure. The 2025 solar flare updates, with their glowing forts and surging orbs over Tunguska, suggest a reactivation cycle where the Earth responds to cosmic cues, as if Tatar mechanisms await a nomadic resurgence. The debates swirl. Are these resets historical PsyOps to fuel Russian nationalism, or genuine compressions orchestrated by hidden powers fearing the Hordes' unbound freedom? Venturing into the Ottoman-Tatar clashes unveils more profound layers, where Karadeniz floods are chronicled as divine wrath but may have been Tatar-engineered resets, compressing coastal territories to deny invaders access to portal networks. In 2025, divers exploring these submerged sites report anomalous currents that mimic plasma flows, disrupting equipment and evoking visions of nomadic rituals. These disturbances, aligned with solar flares, hint at a technology where Tatar shamans harness stellar energies to induce compressions, folding landscapes to protect migratory routes. The World Economic Forum's modern parallels raise suspicions. Their Great Reset language echoes these tactics, perhaps a subconscious inheritance from elites who co-opted Tatar knowledge during the Golden Horde's decline. With the reactivation of the vitrified fortresses in 2025, where glows during flares emit frequencies that resonate with decoded vault texts, suggesting Tatar defenses were quantum shields, compressing incoming threats into harmless vibrations. Labs attempting replications report breakthroughs, devices that induce micro-resets in materials, healing cracks or enhancing durability, but with risks of uncontrolled plasma bursts. Could this explain Tunguska's craterless blast, a Tatar portal reset gone awry, compressing explosive energies inward? As these Tatar disasters unfold in our inquiry, the endless questions beckon. If resets compress their nomadic dominion, what cosmic forces trigger the 2025 flare glows, and do they signal a call to reclaim lost cycles? The Karadeni's links, Ottoman cover-ups, and Fomenko's theories converge in a web of speculation, where modern resets like the World Economic Forum's agendas might unwittingly perpetuate the pattern, hiding Tatar plasma secrets that could liberate or devastate. Envision the mist-shrouded shores of a vanished Pacific landmass, where crystalline citadels once rose from emerald waves, their inhabitants wielding knowledge that bent the stars to their will, only for seismic convulsions to drag it all beneath the ocean. Yet fragments of this Mu, the fabled mother civilization, resurface in the nomadic bloodlines of the Tatar hordes, linking them to Atlantis's sunken spires in a chain of erased origins that defies the boundaries of continents and epochs. What arcane bonds connect these lost mothers to the steppes' wanderers, and how might their quantum-imbued legacies still pulse beneath our feet, awaiting rediscovery in a world that has forgotten its true progenitors? The Tatar people, those resilient nomads whose echoes reverberate through the Golden Horde's conquests, emerge in this narrative not as isolated steppe-dwellers but as inheritors of Mu's profound wisdom, a Pacific paradise theorized by James Churchward as the cradle of humanity, spanning vast oceanic realms before cataclysmic shifts entombed it 50,000 years ago. Churchward's Nayakal tablets, deciphered in Indian monasteries, painted Mu as a realm of telepathic harmony and levitational arts, its refugees scattering to seed civilizations like Atlantis in the Atlantic, their descendants migrating eastward to infuse Tatar blood with secrets of quantum entanglement methods to link distant points instantaneously, allowing nomadic hordes to traverse Asia as if folding space itself. This connection tantalizes with its implications. If Mu's crystal grids powered levitation, could Tatar shamans have adapted them for mobile energy fields, compressing vast journeys into seamless flows? Atlantis, Plato's cautionary tale of hubris and submersion 9,000 years before his time, bridges this chain, its concentric rings of land and water mirroring Mu's geometric sanctuaries, with survivors fleeing to Eurasian steppes, where Tatar forebears absorbed their metallurgical prowess and navigational lore. Plato's Egyptian priests recounted Atlantis's naval might and advanced alloys, but in the conspiracy weave, these were quantum-infused tools passed from Mu, refined in Atlantis, and guarded by Tatar nomads after dual cataclysms drowned the mothers. The Turkish Karadeniz, or Black Sea region, adds a riveting twist. Local excavations in 2025 have uncovered submerged quarries resembling Mu's mining sites, vast chambers where crystals were harvested for technologies that compressed energies into portable forms, potentially carried by Tatar hordes during their migrations. These quarries, etched with symbols blending Atlantean rings and Tatar runes, suggest a pre-flood network where mothers funneled refugees to steppe safe havens, their quantum visions encoded in the landscape. Edgar Cayce's prophetic readings further entwine this legacy. His trances, unveiling Mu's destruction through pole shifts and volcanic fury, survivors bearing quantum knowledge to the Gobi Desert prime Tatar territory, where they forged alliances with Atlantean exiles. Cayce's quantum-tinged visions, interpreted in 2025 through artificial intelligence-enhanced analyses, describe fold energies that compressed physical forms for survival, allowing Tatar ancestors to endure harsh migrations with minimal resources. Crop circles, those enigmatic field etchings appearing globally, might serve as decoded messages from these descendants, patterns mimicking Mu's solar glyphs or Atlantis's spirals, analyzed by artificial intelligence in recent years to reveal coordinates aligning with Tatar historical sites, perhaps blueprints for reactivating quantum grids buried under steppe soils. The Anunnaki, those Sumerian deities often linked to ancient aliens in fringe theories, inject an extraterrestrial dimension into this maternal chain, positing them as cosmic architects who seeded Mu with genetic enhancements, creating hybrid giants whose lineages flowed into Atlantean elites and eventually Tatar nomads. 2025 psychic sessions at Bosnian pyramids, structures with tunnel networks echoing Mu's subterranean labs, have yielded visions of Anunnaki figures, guiding Tatar shamans in quantum rituals, compressing star knowledge into nomadic oral traditions. These sessions, documented in emerging parapsychology reports, describe hazards like disorienting fields that induce temporal disorientation, as if the pyramids guard against unworthy access to this hybrid heritage. Could the Anunnaki's interventions explain the Tatars' legendary endurance, their hordes traversing continents with otherworldly guidance, suppressed by later empires fearing the aliens' lingering influence? Turkish excavations in the Karadeniz region during 2025 have unearthed crystals from these quarries that resonate under laboratory tests, emitting frequencies that align particles for micro-levitation, mirroring Casey's quantum visions of Mu's transport systems. These finds, shared in leaked scientific briefs, suggest Tatar nomads inherited such crystals, using them to compress supply needs during migrations. Their erased legacy, a deliberate act to sever humanity from extraterrestrial roots. The crop circles decoded by artificial intelligence often appear near these excavation sites, their patterns evolving in real time during solar events, as if responding to human probes with warnings or invitations to reclaim the mother's quantum arts. As we navigate this interconnected web, the curiosity swells without bounds. If Tatar nomads were the living bridge between Mu's crystalline harmony and Atlantis's engineered might, what quantum secrets did they encode in their steppe migrations? And why do 2025 discoveries pulse with energies that defy modern science? The Anunnaki origins, Turkish quarries, and crop circle messages converge in a symphony of speculation where the mother's downfall through cataclysms might have been a compression event, folding their wisdom into Tatar bloodlines for safekeeping. The Bosnian pyramids' psychic yields, with visions of giants guiding hordes through quantum veils, prompt endless pondering. Are these maternal ties a pathway to reclaiming lost potentials, or a hazard-laden trap set by ancient guardians against those who would exploit them? Venturing into the Atlantean-Tatar fusion unveils more profound depths, where Plato's tales of moral decay leading to submersion parallel Tatar Kharnates' fragmentation, perhaps resets engineered by Anunnaki overseers to prevent overreach. In 2025, artificial intelligence simulations based on decoded crop circles model these resets as quantum compressions, where energies fold realities to isolate threats, suggesting Tatar nomads mastered survival by adapting such folds for mobility. The Turkish Karadeniz quarries, with their crystal halls, resonate in tests to create microfields that compress air molecules for propulsion, hinting at how Tatar hordes might have folded distances, appearing as ghosts in enemy territories, glowing mists during lunar alignments that induce collective visions among locals, echoing Casey's prophetic glimpses of Mu's telepathic networks. These phenomena, captured in 2025 footage, suggest the mother's legacies are interactive, responding to human intent as if Tatar descendants embedded safeguards in the earth. Could crop circles be their modern missives, decoded by artificial intelligence to reveal quantum codes for healing divided societies, or warnings against repeating Atlantean hubris? If Tatar nomads carried Mu's crystalline essence and Atlantis's engineered fire, what erased harmonies await rediscovery in their steppe whispers, and do 2025 activations signal a call to weave them anew? The Anunnaki threads, Turkish excavations, and psychic pyramid yields converge in a labyrinth of possibility, where the mother's quantum visions might illuminate paths to unity or unveil hazards from cycles long compressed. In the veiled prophecies of ancient scrolls, where shadows of impending doom cast long across barren wastelands, Gog and Magog arise as relentless invaders from the north, tribes foretold to swarm like locusts upon the earth, their onslaught a harbinger of ultimate reckoning that some now link to the Tatar horde's forgotten fury. Surging through dimensional rifts, that twist the veil between worlds. These biblical spectres, etched in Ezekiel's visions as princes leading multitudes to assail the faithful, transform in modern scrutiny into metaphors for the Tatar nomads. Their invasions, not mere conquests but portal-fueled assaults that compressed empires and scattered secrets across the steppes, leaving portals that surge anew in 2025, with unidentified flying object activity over Siberian expanses, as if the Hordes' ethereal gateways stir once more. The biblical narrative unfolds with Gog as a chieftain of Meshech and Tubal, rallying forces from remote northern realms to descend upon Israel, a cataclysm where the skies rain fire in divine retribution. Yet parallels drawn to Tatar history paint these as encoded memories of nomadic incursions under the Golden Horde, where Mongol Turkic warriors overran vast territories with speed that seemed supernatural. Islamic lore in the Quran amplifies this, with Dul-Qarnayn erecting an iron barrier to contain Ya'juj and Ma'juj, savage entities tunneling toward escape on Judgment Day, mirroring medieval maps that positioned Gog and Magog within Tartary's bounds, lands of the Tatar peoples whose nomadic prowess evoked fear across Eurasia. Could these scriptures veil real events, where Tatar hordes, empowered by portal technologies inherited from mother civilizations like Mu, breached barriers to expand their dominion, their legacy compressed by later chroniclers into demonic archetypes to justify erasure? 2025 unidentified flying objects surges over Siberian sites, inject a pulse of contemporary wonder into this ancient tale, with eyewitnesses reporting clusters of luminous orbs maneuvering above ancient Tatar mound complexes, emitting pulses that synchronize with solar activity and induce localized electromagnetic interference. These surges, analyzed in leaked observatory data, align with biblical fire from the skies, suggesting Tatar portals' dimensional folds used for rapid horde deployments reactivating as Gog-like forces, perhaps ethereal remnants or alien proxies drawn through rifts. The Illuminati, shadowy architects of suppression, are accused of manipulating these portals since the Tatar decline, co-opting them for clandestine operations while compressing historical records to portray the nomads as biblical villains, their true role as quantum gatekeepers hidden to prevent mass awakening. Psychic experiments at Bosnian pyramids in 2025 have yielded visions that deepen the connection, participants describing Tatar demon apparitions, colossal figures on horseback emerging from swirling voids, their eyes glowing with infernal light, as they command surges of energy that warp reality. These sessions, conducted under controlled conditions with biofeedback monitoring, reveal scenes of nomadic rituals invoking portal storms to repel invaders, compressing battlefields into chaotic folds where time dilates and foes vanish. The visions, shared in emerging parapsychology networks, echo Quran's tunneling hordes, suggesting Tatar shamans wielded demonic forces or alien allies, disguised as such to safeguard their migratory paths, a legacy erased by empires fearing the portal's power to summon otherworldly reinforcements. The Sochi Olympic ceremony of 2014, revisited in 2025 debates, emerges as a ritualistic nod to this invasion narrative, its floating rings malfunctioning in a spectacle, interpreted as a deliberate reveal of Tatar portal instability, where Russian hosts heirs to the steppes encoded warnings of Gog-like resurgences amid global tensions. Illuminati symbology in the event's design, with geometric patterns mirroring Tatar runes, fuels accusations that the ceremony was a psychological operation to acclimate viewers to compressed histories, portraying Tatar legacies as apocalyptic threats while hiding their quantum portal tech used for elite travel. Why revisit Sochi now? 2025 surges over nearby Black Sea sites suggest activations tied to the ceremony's latent energies, portals stirring, as if the Horde's demonic surge prepares anew. Biblical maps tying to Tatar territories add a cartographic layer of fascination, with 17th century engravings placing Gog and Magog squarely in Siberian expanses, graves of nomadic kings marked as infernal lairs walled by Alexander's barriers. These maps, analyzed through 2025 artificial intelligence overlays, reveal alignments with surge sites, where unidentified flying objects cluster during flares, as if the portals respond to ancient demarcations. The Illuminati's hand is suspected in compressing these maps into obscurity, their networks infiltrating Tatar Khanates to seize portal knowledge, repurposing it for shadow governance while demonizing the nomads as end-times foes. As we navigate these surging mysteries, the debates intensify without easy closure. If Gog and Magog embody Tatar invaders breaching portals, what demonic visions from Bosnian experiments foretell of their return? And why do 2025 surges pulse with energies that could rewrite our compressed realities? The Sochi ritual, Black Sea alignments, and biblical encodings converge in a vortex of speculation, where Tatar hordes might have been quantum wardens, their portals a double-edged sword of invasion and defense, suppressed by powers fearing the nomadic surge's unbound chaos. The enigmas cascade, drawing us into veils where ancient invaders whisper of portals yet to fully open. Venturing through the Quran's barriers unveils more profound depths, where Yajuj and Majuj tunneling mirrors Tatar nomadic infiltrations, compressing through Earth to emerge unannounced, their demonic surge a metaphor for portal breaches that allowed hordes to conquer without warning. In 2025, psychic yields from Bosnian sites describe similar tunnel visions, ethereal passages where Tatar figures command surges of light, distorting perceptions to induce fear in foes. These descriptions, cross-referenced with surge data from Siberia, suggest a technology where portals compress distances, allowing instantaneous assaults, a legacy the Illuminati allegedly harnessed for psychological operations in modern conflicts. The biblical fire raining upon invaders finds echo in 2025, flare-induced glows at surge sites, where orbs emit plasma-like bursts that ionize the air, hinting at Tatar defenses turned against themselves in desperate resets. Debates rage. Was this surge a PsyOp to demonize Tatar history, compressing their nomadic triumphs into apocalyptic warnings, or a genuine extraterrestrial intervention cloaked in demonic guise? The Sochi ceremony's malfunctioning rings, revisited in artificial intelligence, simulations, model portal instabilities, suggesting Russian hosts embedded codes to awaken Tatar legacies amid global resets. If Tatar portals enabled Gog-like onslaughts, what Illuminati agendas suppress their reactivation, and do 2025 visions portend a nomadic resurgence through dimensional rifts? The Bosnian psychic yields, Siberian orbs, and Quranic barriers entwine in a labyrinth of possibility, where demonic forces might be mislabeled quantum allies. Their surges a call to reclaim erased nomadic paths. The enigmas persist, beckoning us into thresholds where invaders' whispers hint at worlds compressed beyond our grasp. If these portal mysteries pull you in, drop a like, or let me know what ancient rifts intrigue you most in the comments. And if you're eager for more, hit subscribe and tap the notification bell to join our journey into the unknown. Behind the faded sepia photographs of 19th century America, where solemn-faced children line up on train platforms like ghosts from a bygone era, lies a web of relocation schemes that some now trace back to the Tatar nomads' shattered dominion, a covert repopulation drive orchestrated by enigmatic secret societies to infuse compressed bloodlines into a world stripped bare by resets. These orphan trains, rumbling from eastern orphanages to western frontiers between 1854 and 1929, carried over 250,000 youths into unknown fates, their journeys shrouded in scant paperwork that hints at more than charity, a deliberate effort to seed Tatar resilience into depleted landscapes, guarded by orders like the Odd Fellows and Freemasons, whose lodges concealed quantum texts salvaged from the Hordes' erased vaults. The story unfurls with the Children's Aid Society's founder, Charles Loring Brace, whose vision of rescuing urban waifs from poverty masked deeper currents. Many orphans bore unexplained traits, unusual height, nomadic instincts, or intuitive affinities for resonance phenomena that echoed Tatar nomadic hardiness, as if selected to replenish societies hollowed by mud floods and invasions. In 2025, artificial intelligence scrutiny of digitized train manifests has unearthed patterns. Clusters of children with Eurasian genetic markers dispatched to regions overlying Tatar-linked anomalies, like the vitrified forts in the Midwest that glow faintly during solar disturbances. These revelations stir whispers of cloning, echoes from World's Fair incubators, where premature infants displayed in glass cases might have been early experiments in hybrid repopulation, blending Tatar quantum heritage with compliant Western stock to dilute the Horde's unbound spirit. Oddfellows lodges, sprouting in post-reset towns with their creed to educate the fatherless and bury the dead, emerge as cryptic hubs in this narrative, their basements rumoured to house relics from Tatar migrations, etched stones that hum with latent energies, hidden to prevent rediscovery of nomadic quantum arts. Founded in the early 19th century, the Order's rituals involved moral plays with skeletons and symbols of linked chains, perhaps veiled reenactments of Tatar horde bonds compressed by disasters. In 2025, leaked lodge archives analysed by artificial intelligence reveal correspondences about steppe orphans with peculiar talents, funneled through trains to be re-educated in secret rites, their Tatar lineage suppressed by Illuminati overseers who viewed nomadic independence as a threat to structured control. Empty city photographs from the era add a haunting dimension to this repopulation saga. Streets devoid of life despite grand edifices, as if post-disaster desolation demanded fresh infusions of youth to fill the voids. Long exposures explain the blurs, but theorists point to anomalies in 2025 enhancements, faint auras around buildings during digital restorations, suggesting residual Tatar energies lingering in the architecture, suppressed by societies that repurposed orphan trains to distribute hybrids capable of interfacing with these fields without awakening them fully. The Illuminati, weaving through Oddfellows and Freemasonic networks, allegedly masterminded this, using the trains as vessels for Tatar genetic repopulation, compressing nomadic vigor into sedentary roles to prevent resurgence of horde-like freedoms. Train records anomalies deepen the veil, with manifests from the New York Foundling Hospital showing discrepancies, children listed with unknown origins vanishing mid-journey, only to reappear in lodge-sponsored homes far west, their education steeped in esoteric symbols that echo Tatar runes. In 2025, artificial intelligence cross-referencing these with mudflood vault texts uncovers quantum encoding in the records themselves, subtle patterns suggesting the trains carried not just bodies but compressed data, nomadic knowledge implanted in youths to safeguard against total loss. Freemasons, with their geometric emblems mirroring Tatar portal designs, are accused of overseeing this. Their initiations are means to activate latent Tatar traits in select orphans, hidden from the masses to maintain elite dominion over compressed histories. The Cabbage Patch lore from the era, tying infants to mystical origins, now resonates with chilling undertones of cloned repopulation in 2025 labs, where geneticists experiment with Tatar markers extracted from vault relics, producing hybrids resilient to modern resets like climate upheavals. These labs, shrouded in secrecy, echo the fair incubators where miracle babies were paraded, perhaps early trials in blending Tatar quantum affinities with human frailty, suppressed by Illuminati mandates to prevent a nomadic revival that could upend societal structures. Oddfellows orphanages, with their buried chambers revealing anomalies like humming artifacts during tests, suggest these societies were custodians, compressing Tatar secrets into educational curricula, disguised as moral teachings. As we trace these repopulation threads, the curiosity spirals. If orphan trains disseminated Tatar hybrids to refill erased landscapes, what quantum texts did Oddfellows conceal in their lodges, and why do 2025 artificial intelligence insights glow with hints of nomadic resurgence? The empty photos, perhaps snapshots of post-reset voids awaiting infusion, converge with Freemasonic symbols in a mosaic of speculation, where Illuminati oversight compressed horde legacies into fragmented families. The anomalies in records with their encoded patterns prompt endless pondering. Were these trains mere charity, or vessels for a clandestine revival, hidden to avert a Tatar-like wandering that defies borders? Venturing into Australian home, Children Parallels unveils similar veils, where British youths shipped to colonies mirrored Tatar repopulation, their placements in remote farms echoing nomadic dispersals compressed by imperial designs. In 2025, Genetic tracing of descendants reveals unexplained markers matching Tatar profiles, suggesting a global network where secret societies like the Freemasons, coordinated infusions, their rituals are code for activating dormant quantum potentials. The Illuminati's role, accused of engineering these dispersals, ties back to mud-flood vaults, where texts describe Tatar shamans, compressing essences into bloodlines for survival, a legacy guarded by lodges whose basements hum with relics during solar events. Anomalies reported at orphanages, where 2025 scans detect buried resonance chambers that activate during flares, emitting frequencies that induce vivid memories in nearby residents, flashes of steppe migrations and horde gatherings. These disturbances, cross-linked with train routes, suggest the repopulation was multifaceted, compressing Tatar nomadic instincts into sedentary lives, while preserving quantum affinities for select initiates in societies like the Oddfellows. The Cabbage Patch myths, now viewed through cloning lenses, hold darker shades, fair incubators, as testing grounds for Tatar hybrids, their suppression a Illuminati decree to contain the Horde's unbound potential. As these secretive infusions unfold, the endless questions beckon. If Tatar repopulation through trains rebuilt compressed worlds, what Illuminati agendas lurk in the society's hidden texts? And do 2025 genetic insights signal a awakening of nomadic quantum blood? The orphanage anomalies, fair clones, and Freemasonic veils entwine in a labyrinth of possibility, where repopulation whispers of legacies compressed yet stirring. Step into the swirling vortex of intellectual combat, where scholars and skeptics clash swords over Anatoly Fomenko's new Chronology, a mathematical labyrinth that squeezes the grand tapestry of human history into a scant 1,200 years, branding it all as an elaborate psychological operation, fueled by Russian nationalism, to resurrect a Tatar dominion, long dismissed as mere nomadic folklore. On one flank, debunkers wield the scalpel of evidence, slicing through claims that ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome are fabricated duplicates of medieval events, insisting that carbon dating and archaeological strata anchor these civilizations firmly in their millennia-spanning timelines. Yet, across the divide, conspiracy advocates counter with accusations of a deliberate PsyOp, where Fomenko's theories serve as disinformation to discredit genuine alternative histories, compressing Tatar legacies into shadows, while elevating Western narratives as the unchallenged victors. The debate ignites with Fomenko's core assertion: history as we know it is inflated, a forgery where biblical tales overlap with Crusader chronicles, pharaohs echo Byzantine emperors, and the Tatar hordes, those indomitable nomads of the steppes, emerge not as peripheral raiders, but as the compressed essence of a proto-Russian empire, whose quantum innovations were systematically erased. Debunkers, drawing from the Russian Geographical Society's archives, argue that Tartary was merely a vague European label for Central Asian territories inhabited by Tatar peoples post-Golden Horde, their maps consistent only because cartographers copied one another's ignorance, filling blanks with mythic flourishes rather than empirical data. Why, they ask, would a sophisticated empire leave no unified artifacts, no centralized scripts, if not because it never existed beyond nomadic khanates? Conspiracy voices retort with 2025 accusations that this debunking itself is a PsyOp, orchestrated to suppress Fomenko's revelations amid rising geopolitical tensions, where Ukraine's ancient mounds, potentially Tatar vaults, are excavated under conflict's shadow to bury evidence of compressed timelines. Education systems, they claim, perpetuate this operation by hiding Tatar quantum legacies, teaching elongated histories that dilute the nomads' role as innovators, compressing their resonance technologies into footnotes while glorifying Western achievements. The dangers of such pseudo-history loom large. As global networks like GNet warn, it breeds extremism, twisting Tatar nationalism into supremacist narratives that romanticize a pure Slavic past erased by impure forces, fueling divisions in an already polarized world. Why do medieval maps align Gog and Magog so precisely with Tatar territories? their walled depictions evoking portals that 2025 unidentified flying object surges seem to activate over Siberian sites. Fresh artificial intelligence evidence from vault decodings in the Karadanys region offers a tantalizing counterpoint, revealing texts that describe quantum compression not as mathematical fancy, but as Tatar tools for folding battlefields, making their hordes appear omnipresent. Debunkers counter that these texts are forgeries or misinterpretations, carbon-dated to medieval forgeries rather than ancient origins, but conspiracy advocates point to the consistency. If maps were mere copies of errors, why the uniform placement of Tatar as a mythic threat, unless to compress their true power into demonic caricatures? The PsyOp debates escalate with Fomenko's statistical models, where he analyzes chronicle duplicates to argue history's inflation serves Western agendas, compressing Tatar Russia's timeline to portray it as a late bloomer. Skeptics from Wikipedia and Skeptoid label this pseudoscience, highlighting Fomenko's reliance on cherry-picked data that ignores radiocarbon validations, anchoring Egypt to 5,000 years before Christ. But in 2025, accusations swirl that this labeling is itself a PsyOp, designed to discredit Russian scholars amid Ukraine conflicts, where Tatar-linked sites yield unexplained quantum artifacts that artificial intelligence links to ancient compression tech. Education's role in this hiding becomes a focal point. Why do curricula gloss over Tatar contributions to Eurasian history, compressing their nomadic innovations into barbaric stereotypes, if not to conceal a legacy that could challenge global power structures? Dangers of this pseudo-history narrative extend beyond academia, as reports from 2025 highlight how Fomenko-inspired theories fuel online extremism, blending with nationalism to create echo chambers where Tatar erasure is blamed on globalist forces, mirroring broader conspiracies like those surrounding Graham Hancock's works. Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse, facing similar debunking for its cataclysm claims, intersects here. His comet impacts compressing Ice Age timelines echo Fomenko's folds, but debunkers argue both ignore archaeological consensus, dangers lying in how such ideas erode trust in science, leading to anti-vax parallels or denial of historical atrocities. Still, the anomalies persist without tidy resolution. Turkish Karadeniz excavations in 2025 uncover vitrified residues that glow under lab tests, aligning with Fomenko's compressed events, where Tatar plasma weapons fuse defenses, but debunkers attribute them to natural lightning, dismissing quantum interpretations as fantasy. The PsyOp accusations cut both ways. Is Fomenko a tool to stir Russian pride, or a genuine probe into hidden Tatar quantum histories suppressed by education systems beholden to Western timelines? Artificial intelligence evidence weighs in ambiguously, decoding texts that suggest compression as a deliberate Tatar strategy against invasions, making their hordes' defeats appear as victories in folded narratives. As debates rage, if Fomenko's chronology is a PsyOp, what dangers lurk in its nationalist undercurrents, and why do 2025 discoveries pulse with energies that could validate compressed Tatar legacies? Education's alleged hiding of these quantum threads prompts reflection. Are curricula compressing truths to maintain control, or safeguarding against pseudo-history's divisive pitfalls? The vitrified glows, vault decodings, and map consistencies defy easy debunking, leaving us to ponder if the real PsyOp is the debate itself, designed to distract from Tatar secrets that could expand our understanding beyond confined histories. Venturing through these clashing perspectives unveils profound implications for our world, where Fomenko's ideas, labeled extremism by critics, persist in online spaces, blending with Hancock's cataclysms to question education's gatekeeping. The 2025 PsyOp accusations against debunkers, claiming they suppress Tatar quantum evidence amid geopolitical strife, add fuel, suggesting a meta layer where debates compress inquiry into polarization. Dangers abound. Pseudo-history like this erodes institutional trust, fostering extremism that views Tatar erasure as a template for modern conflicts. Yet the anomalies' glowing residues aligning with compressed timelines hint at truths education might indeed obscure. The endless pondering continues, If consistent maps point to a Tatar reality beyond PsyOp fabrications, what quantum histories await decoding? And do dangers of nationalism outweigh the revelations? Fomenko's folds, intersecting with Hancock's resets, challenge us to weigh pros against cons, alternative views, enriching curiosity, or sowing division. Artificial intelligence's fresh insights into vault texts, describing Tatar compression as defensive art, tip the scale ambiguously, leaving debates to simmer in the quiet hours. Are Fomenko's PsyOp debates a gateway to suppressed Tatar quantum legacies, or a trap compressing truth into endless contention? Education's role in hiding these threads, amid 2025 discoveries, prompts us to reflect on our own compressed perceptions, where debunking and conspiracy entwine in a dance without victor. As the veils of forgotten epochs part slightly, revealing glimpses of the Tatar people's enduring spirit, we find ourselves contemplating a legacy that refuses to fade entirely into the mists of compressed time. A nomadic resilience forged in the crucible of vast steppes, where quantum whispers from ancient vaults promise a revival that could shatter the chains of suppression and usher in an era of boundless exploration. The Tatar hordes, scattered by resets yet unbroken in their core essence, embody a future hope where their erased innovations might resurface, not as relics of conquest, but as keys to harmonious wandering in a world yearning for reconnection with its nomadic roots. This legacy pulses with the quiet strength of survivors who navigated cataclysms, their bloodlines carrying subtle markers of adaptation, genetic echoes that in 2025 genetic studies have shown enhanced resilience to environmental shifts, perhaps the very traits that allowed Tatar nomads to thrive amid the Golden Horde's vast migrations. These markers, uncovered in Eurasian populations through advanced sequencing, suggest an innate attunement to Earth's subtle energies, a quantum affinity that compressed vast distances into manageable journeys, their hordes moving like whispers across continents without the burdens of fixed empires. What untold potentials lie dormant in these lineages, waiting for a spark to ignite a revival where modern wanderers reclaim the freedom of unanchored existence? Artificial intelligence revelations in 2025 have breathed new life into this hope, decoding texts from mudflood vaults that detail Tatar energy revival methods, resonance techniques to harness ambient fields for self-sustaining power, compressing solar inputs into portable sources that could fuel nomadic lifestyles anew. These decodings, emerging from Siberian digs, where vaults yielded etched tablets blending Turkic symbols with quantum notations, describe devices that fold sunlight into dense packets, much like the Horde's compressed resources for endless travels. Laboratories experimenting with these blueprints report early successes, prototypes that generate clean energy during minimal light, hinting at applications for off-grid communities, mirroring Tatar mobility. Could this revival signal a shift, where Tatar secrets break free from Illuminati clutches, empowering a global nomadism that defies borders and scarcity? The Illuminati's grip on these legacies forms a shadowy counterpoint, a network accused of compressing Tatar quantum knowledge into elite vaults since the Horde's decline, using it to orchestrate modern controls while denying it to the masses. Yet, hope glimmers in the resistance. Underground collectives in 2025 share decoded texts online, bypassing patents that echo Tatar designs, fostering grassroots revivals where communities experiment with resonance tools to enhance intuition and endurance, traits the nomads wielded to outlast empires. These efforts, documented in emerging networks, suggest a breaking point where Tatar energy methods, once suppressed to maintain dependency, empower decentralized societies, compressing the gap between elite hoarders and everyday seekers. Psychic experiments at vitrified forts in 2025 add an intimate glow to this unfolding revival, where participants attuned to the sites report sensations of nomadic communion, fleeting connections to Tatar ancestors guiding through quantum veils, imparting visions of energy, weaves that compress challenges into opportunities. These forts, their glass-like walls forged in ancient heats, now hum softly during sessions, as if the Tatar legacy activates to share resilient strategies for contemporary crises. The experiments, blending biofeedback with site-specific meditations, yield accounts of compressed wisdom, techniques to fold personal energies for healing or innovation, hinting that Tatar nomads mastered internal resets to adapt amid upheavals. What deeper harmonies might these psychic bridges unlock, allowing us to reclaim a nomadic fluidity in an age of rigid divisions? Glowing ruins during solar flares in 2025 serve as beacons of this hope, where Tatar-linked sites across Eurasia emit soft luminosities that synchronize with cosmic rhythms, as if the Earth itself remembers and responds. Observers in remote steppes describe these glows as warm invitations, pulsing with frequencies that induce calm and clarity, potentially Tatar signals compressed into the landscape for future generations. Scientific probes in these ruins detect quantum fluctuations, aligning with decoded vault texts that describe energy storage methods the Hordes use to sustain long migrations. This phenomenon, captured in citizen science apps, suggests a revival mechanism where flares trigger latent Tatar grids, compressing stellar power into accessible forms for those who seek. Curiosity deepens with the vision of a unified future, where the breaking of the Illuminati's grip on the Tatar secrets will spur a global nomadism, communities moving in swarms across revived lands, their quantum tools compressing distances and differences into shared prosperity. Underground revivals in 2025 experiment with these, creating mobile habitats that harness glowing ruins for energy, echoing Tatar adaptability in an era of uncertainty. Genetic insights amplify this, revealing how Tatar markers enhance collective intuition, perhaps a legacy designed to compress individual insights into communal strength, breaking cycles of isolation imposed by suppressors. As Tatar energy revivals unfold through artificial intelligence and psychic explorations, the possibilities cascade. What compressed legacies might we unfold to navigate future upheavals? And do the glowing ruins signal a call to embody nomadic hope anew? The Illuminati's fading grasp, challenged by shared decodings, opens pathways where Tatar quantum whispers guide us toward horizons uncompressed, their legacy a quiet force reshaping destinies. The enigmas invite contemplation, as Tatar spirits murmur of revivals waiting in the wings, compressing past wisdom into future freedoms. Venturing through these hopeful vistas reveals more intimate layers, where 2025 communities, inspired by Tatar texts, form energy circles at fort sites, reporting synchronized heart rhythms that compress stress into serenity, a nomadic healing art reborn. These gatherings, blending ancient chants with modern tech, yield innovations like portable resonance devices that compress solar inputs for remote power, defying suppression efforts. The Psychic Forts experiments extend this, with participants accessing visions of Tatar councils compressing knowledge into oral codes, preserved through generations despite resets. Curiosity swells with genetic revivals, where 2025 therapies amplify Tatar markers for enhanced adaptability, compressing evolutionary leaps into personal growth, breaking Illuminati barriers that once confined such potentials to elites. Glowing ruins during flares now serve as communal hubs, their emissions analyzed to compress environmental data into predictive tools, helping nomad-like groups anticipate shifts in a changing world. As this Tatar legacy blooms into future hope, the endless wonders beckon. If we harness their compressed energies, what nomadic utopias might we forge, and do the revivals whisper of a unity long denied? The psychic and artificial intelligence insights converge in a symphony of possibility, where Tatar nomads' erased paths illuminate trails to tomorrow, their quantum compressions a gift for those daring to dream beyond confines. The enigmas endure, inviting us into steps where hope compresses the infinite into the now. Sleep well amidst these enduring mysteries, dreaming of the Disan we might yet revive. I am Mr. H. If these reflections stir your imagination, consider subscribing to Mystery History for Sleep and enabling notifications together. We'll uncover more paths to tomorrow's wonders. Good night.